Hey, coming at you with an interesting project from the farm, probably one you might not have expected. Freezer alarms. My daughter here is opening an Amazon package, and we bought ourselves a set of kind of digital wireless freezer alarms. You know, we've got a good farm family down the road called Loft and Field, and they had some freezer issues, and they found that putting wireless sensors in the freezer that communicated to the internet and then henceforth bugged you on your cell phone by app or notification or email or what have you was the way to go to prevent the loss of all the product in a freezer. Well, we have several freezers, and we've had loss here and there over the years too. So I thought to myself, this isn't a very expensive investment, and I can do it via Amazon the way it looks. You buy this kit, it comes with 2 sensors that are waterproof, and then you get a little digital display screen that ties into your Wi-Fi in your building or house. And then we bought a couple more sensors for the extra freezers, and we started plugging things in and putting the app on our phone and trying to use this. So these are waterproof sensors. I'll put the one I purchased down in the link of my comments. And what my daughter Julia here is doing is she's downloading this app, and once you get this app downloaded, it tells you how to run the main screen. But you can run the main screen, I found out, by just using the buttons on the side and not using the app. So if you don't have a phone and you just use the little main screen, it will go into audible mode and beep. So when there's an alarm or alert, it'll beep at you. But honestly, the app was really nice. So it works pretty good. So we made ourselves a login, which is what she's doing here. And she got herself a password and she downloaded the app, all that jazz. And it's free, by the way. They didn't charge me for the app, so it's not like one of those gimmicks where you got to do it. And then once the app, communicates with the Wi-Fi on the machine, just like that, it gets the time off your phone and it's up to date, which is really nice. And then, of course, it's got, a couple sensors that pair to it easily because they're the same sensors that were in the box with it. Remember, we bought 3 other sensors because we're going to try and do 5 total freezers here with this kind of device. Now, they make these where you can put just the probe in the freezer, and then the unit sits on the outside of the freezer and then works with your Wi-Fi. These are meant to go fully in the freezer. Just shut the door. They got batteries in them, and it'll tell you when the batteries get low. And apparently the batteries online say they last about 2 years. The reviews of people are kind of mixed. Some people said it lasted 1.5 years. Some people said it lasted, 20 months. Some people said it went 26 months. So I don't really know on the battery longevity, folks. But at least it tells you when the batteries aren't receiving anymore. So you just go to your freezer and change out the batteries on these things. But I thought, you got an elk in a freezer. You got 4 or 5 goats in the freezer. You've got a bunch of berries in the freezer. What you want to do at that point in time is try to work with things and try to get it good. You want to try to get yourself in a situation where if that freezer starts to die, you know about it so that then you can go into the other freezers with all that food and either correct the freezer because it had the door left open or somebody turned it off or they unplugged it, or if the freezer's truly dead, replace it and get a new freezer. So here she is again. She's just making sure everything's working. She's keeping the app up. She's got it all pretty much set up. 65 degrees is what they're starting to read sitting on this cold countertop, but they're doing really well. On the back side of these, they've got a little Velcro too to stick them in the freezer, but I'm probably not going to use that. On the front side, there's just a button on them. You push the button and it pairs it, and that's what she's trying to do here. She basically tells it to look for it on her app, and then she pushes the button and it pairs it to the little box there, and the little box then communicates with the wireless system in the house and it gets to the app. Boy, that can't be any simpler or easier, folks. The process she just has to repeat over and over and over again. Basically 5 times. Once she gets this done 5 times, these things will all be paired up and they'll all be ready to go. And then what's nice too is you can go in and you can name the room they're in. So we're going to call these the shop. So if you had like a bunch of these in your, let's say your kitchen and then your basement and then your shop, you could name 3 different rooms. And then within the rooms, you can name the individual sensors, which is really nice. So in the shop here, we're going to have the left, right, and middle freezer. We're going to have the bacon freezer, and then we're going to have Bob's freezer because I was given a freezer from my neighbor Bob. So that's how we'll name them for sake of argument. She's going in and putting all the details and data in right now, and we'll try to get this thing going, okay? Right now, the way things go, I'm making progress on just trying to protect myself with a system like this. Nothing is broken, nothing has worn out, nothing has given us any trouble. So we're just doing it so that we can make things work a lot better. Hopefully, if something does go wrong, like somebody leaves the door cracked, they unplug it, they accidentally turn it off, this will notify us. We'll catch it even before the freezer can thaw at all. So I'm going to set these up at about 24 degrees because I keep the freezers about 0 to 5 degrees. That's where I like to keep them. So Julia's going out to the freezers now. She's going to start putting these in the freezers. They're all named and located now, which is great. So she's just going to find spots for them in here. Again, they come with Velcro and you can attach them. They also have a little hanging hook on them. I think it's like yellow, and you can hang them onto things. I don't really want to hang them, so I think they'll just be easier if I just lay them in here and we figure out where they go. Most of the time, my kids are pretty good with the thermometers that are in there right now and keeping track of them and making sure they stay to the top. So I think we'll try to do the same with these. We'll just make sure we can always see them and keep them on the top. So as you can see here, she's on the third freezer here. This will be the middle one. She's getting it in there, and then she's going to get that one locked. We always try to keep locks on our freezer because it's kind of a double check to make sure we shut them all the way. Plus, when you fill these things up really full, I've seen times where things expand and actually push those covers up. Again, giving us trouble. Won't be such an issue with this because we'll walk into the shop and the little electronic box will be screaming at us, or our phone will be giving us notifications on it. So hopefully it'll go really good. At least that's my game plan. At the moment, this is the one that we call the bacon freezer. It's basically full of pork, a lot of bacon. And then I went and set the alarms. I set the alarms so it'll go off at 24 degrees. I don't care how dang cold the freezer gets, so I'm only going with that. I set it so that the hub will start beeping also. And then here's the main screen that you can see on my phone. You can see all 5 sensors and the shop freezer sensor, and it tells you the degrees, tells you the battery power, and you can touch each one of these if you want more details. It'll even graph it out for you. So now we're about a couple days later. I'm just checking on them to make sure they're in place and they're doing well. They absolutely look fine. Again, these are water resistant. They call them waterproof, but whatever. I'm sure it just means that they can get moisture on them and still work. Batteries are all working just fine. Hopefully it lasts a long time. That's the one thing I can't guarantee yet. We'll have to give a review on that down the road. I've got them in all 4 of these freezers here, and then the one behind me, which is the bacon. They're all tucked in places, which works absolutely great. As I walk into the other room, I get to the hub. As I get to the hub, you can see the time is on it. You can see all 4 sensors there. Now there's 5, so I just have to rotate the little dial, and I can see the 5th one, and then it goes back and forth. So that makes it easy. And again, if it goes off, this little box will scream and my phone will get notifications. I think this product's going to work great, folks. It's not that expensive. I'll put it down in the links where I got it from on Amazon if you'd like to check it out.